The story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz is one of the most fascinating and emotional journeys in the history of television. To the world, they were the perfect couple who made millions laugh every week. Their show, I Love Lucy, brought joy into homes and created moments that are still remembered today. People saw them as a symbol of love, humor, and success. On screen, their chemistry felt natural and full of life, as if nothing could ever break their bond. But behind the bright lights and laughter, their real lives were much more complicated. Their relationship was filled with deep love, but also pain, distance, and struggles that most viewers never knew about. The contrast between their public image and private reality makes their story both powerful and heartbreaking. They built something truly special together, not just as performers, but as pioneers who changed television forever. Yet, while the audience enjoyed their happy moments, the couple was quietly dealing with problems that would slowly grow over time. Their journey shows how even the most successful and admired people can face personal battles that are hidden from the world, making their story feel real, human, and unforgettable. Their story began in 1940 when Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz met while working on the film Too Many Girls. At first, they seemed like an unlikely pair. Lucille was a rising actress in Hollywood, known for her determination and strong personality, while Desi was a young Cuban musician full of charm and energy. Despite their differences, the attraction between them was immediate and intense. They quickly fell in love, and their relationship moved forward at a fast pace. Only a few months after meeting, they decided to get married, choosing to elope rather than have a large ceremony. This quick decision showed how strong their feelings were, but it also hinted at the impulsive nature of their relationship. In the beginning, everything felt exciting and new. They enjoyed each other's company and shared dreams of success. However, their careers soon began to pull them in different directions. Desi spent long periods traveling with his band, performing in nightclubs across the country, while Lucille focused on building her acting career in Hollywood. This constant separation created distance between them, both physically and emotionally. Even in the early days of their marriage, signs of tension started to appear, showing that their love, while strong, would face many challenges in the years ahead. As time went on, the pressures of their careers and personal lives began to take a toll on their marriage. Lucille often found herself alone while Desi was away, and rumors about his behavior started to spread. Stories of drinking and infidelity caused pain and created trust issues between them. Despite this, Lucille remained deeply committed to the relationship. She believed in their love and continued trying to make things work, even when it became difficult. At one point, the situation became so serious that she filed for divorce in 1944. This moment showed how far their problems had gone. However, their connection was not easy to break. After spending time apart, they decided to give their marriage another chance. Instead of separating their lives, they chose a different path. They realized that being apart was one of their biggest problems, so they decided to bring their careers together. This decision would not only change their relationship, but also shape the future of television. Their willingness to try again showed the depth of their bond. Even with all the pain and challenges, they were not ready to let go of each other. This mix of love and struggle became a defining part of their story, making it both inspiring and tragic at the same time. In the late 1940s, Lucille Ball found a new opportunity that would change everything. She began starring in a radio show called My Favorite Husband, where her talent for comedy truly shined. The show became popular and reminded people of her ability to make audiences laugh. This success led to an even bigger opportunity when the network decided to turn the radio show into a television series. Lucille agreed, but she had one important condition. She wanted Desi Arnaz to play her husband on the show. At the time, this idea was not easily accepted. Many executives were unsure if audiences would believe their pairing, especially because of Desi's Cuban background. However, Lucille did not back down. She believed in their chemistry and wanted their real relationship to be part of the show. To prove their idea would work, they went on tour together, performing live shows across the country. The response from audiences was overwhelmingly positive. People loved seeing them together, and this success convinced the network to move forward with the project. This moment showed Lucille's determination and belief in both her talent and her relationship. It was a turning point that would soon lead to one of the most successful shows in television history. When I Love Lucy premiered in 1951, it quickly became a huge success. Millions of viewers tuned in each week to watch the funny and sometimes chaotic life of Lucy and Ricky Ricardo. The show stood out because of its humor, creativity, and the natural chemistry between its stars. Behind the scenes, Lucille and Desi were also making important business decisions that would change television forever. Through their company, Desilu Productions, they chose to film the show using high-quality film instead of the standard methods of the time. This decision allowed the episodes to be saved and shown again in the future, creating what we now know as reruns. It was a groundbreaking idea that brought them great success and influenced how television shows are produced even today. The show also broke social barriers, including one famous moment when Lucille's real-life pregnancy was written into the story. At that time, it was unusual to show pregnancy on television, but they did it in a way that felt natural and meaningful. This moment became one of the most watched events in TV history. Their work was not only entertaining but also innovative, proving that they were more than just performers. They were creators who shaped the future of an entire industry. Despite their incredible success, the pressure of fame and work continued to affect their personal lives. Running a successful show and a growing business required constant effort, and both Lucille and Desi were deeply involved in every detail. This left little time for rest or for their relationship. Desi struggled with the stress in his own way, often turning to alcohol. His behavior became more unpredictable, and the same problems that had troubled their marriage in the past began to return. Lucille, on the other hand, carried the weight of both her career and her family. Over time, the emotional strain became too much to handle. By the end of the 1950s, it was clear that their marriage was once again in trouble. In 1960, Lucille made the difficult decision to file for divorce. This marked the end of their marriage after 20 years together. The separation was painful for both of them, as well as for their children. Even though their relationship had been filled with challenges, the love they shared did not completely disappear. Their story shows how success does not always bring happiness and how personal struggles can exist even in the most successful lives. After their divorce, both Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz moved forward with their lives, but their connection did not fully end. Lucille later remarried and continued working in television, maintaining her place as one of the most respected figures in the industry. Desi also remarried and stepped away from the spotlight, choosing a quieter life. Even though they were no longer married, they remained in contact and continued to care about each other. Over time, the anger and pain from their past slowly softened. Their relationship changed into something different, built on shared history and understanding. In the final years of Desi Arnaz's life, his health began to decline. Years of stress and drinking took a serious toll on his body. He faced his struggles quietly, away from the public eye. When he passed away in 1986, it marked the end of a life that had once been filled with energy, talent, and success. His story is a reminder of how quickly life can change and how the choices we make can affect our future in lasting ways. Lucille Ball also faced her own challenges in her later years. Although she remained a beloved figure, her life was not without difficulties. She continued working and stayed active in the entertainment world, but the memories of her past, including her relationship with Desi, remained an important part of her life. When she passed away in 1989, it felt like the end of an era for many fans. Together, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz left behind a legacy that goes far beyond their personal struggles. They changed television, created unforgettable moments, and showed the world what it means to love, lose, and keep moving forward. Their story is not just about fame or success. It is about human emotions, mistakes, and the complicated nature of relationships. Even though their ending was not a happy one, their journey continues to inspire and remind us that behind every great story, there are real people with real lives. Even after their divorce, the story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz did not truly come to an end. In many ways, their relationship simply changed form rather than disappearing completely. While the romantic part of their lives was over, the emotional connection they shared remained strong in a quieter, more complex way. They had spent 20 years building a life together, raising children, and creating something that had touched millions of people. That kind of bond is not easily broken. Over time, the anger and hurt that once defined their separation began to fade. Instead of focusing on the pain, they started to remember the good moments they had shared. Their conversations became calmer, and they slowly rebuilt a sense of respect and understanding. Friends and family often noticed that despite everything that had happened, there was still a deep care between them. This unexpected friendship became one of the most surprising parts of their story. It showed that even after a difficult ending, people can find a way to move forward without completely losing each other. Their connection became less about romance and more about shared history, mutual respect, and a lasting emotional bond that neither of them could fully let go of. During the later years of his life, Desi Arnaz faced many personal challenges that the public rarely saw. After stepping away from the spotlight, he chose a quieter lifestyle, far from the busy world of television and entertainment. However, the effects of his past began to catch up with him. Years of stress, heavy drinking, and constant pressure had taken a serious toll on his health. He also dealt with physical pain that dated back to injuries from his younger years, including his time during World War II. These health problems made his later life more difficult and limited his ability to stay active. Despite these struggles, Desi tried to find peace in a simpler life, spending time with family and focusing on his personal well-being. Those who knew him during this time often described him as reflective and thoughtful, someone who had learned from his past experiences. He spoke openly about his regrets, especially when it came to his marriage with Lucille. He admitted that his actions had played a role in the breakdown of their relationship, showing a level of honesty that revealed how much he had grown over the years. His later life may not have had the excitement of his earlier career, but it was filled with moments of quiet reflection and personal understanding. As Desi Arnaz's health continued to decline, his connection with Lucille Ball became even more meaningful. Despite being separated for many years, they remained in contact and continued to support each other in their own way. One of the most touching moments in their story came near the end of Desi's life. During his final days, the two spoke on the phone, sharing words that reflected the deep bond they had never completely lost. Desi reportedly expressed his love for Lucille, and she responded with the same warmth and affection. This moment captured the true nature of their relationship. It was not perfect, and it had been filled with pain and mistakes, but at its core, there was real love that had survived everything they had been through. When Desi passed away in 1986, it marked a deeply emotional moment for Lucille. Even though they had built separate lives, his loss affected her in a profound way. It was not just the loss of a former husband, but the loss of someone who had been a central part of her life for decades. This final chapter of their story shows how powerful human connections can be, even when relationships change over time. In the years following Desi Arnaz's passing, Lucille Ball continued to live her life, while carrying the memories of their shared past. She remained active in the entertainment industry and continued to be recognized as one of the most important figures in television history. Her work had already left a lasting impact, but her personal story added another layer to her legacy. She was not just a performer who made people laugh. She was also a woman who experienced love, heartbreak, and personal growth. Those who were close to her often spoke about how she reflected on her life with a mix of pride and honesty. She understood the importance of her achievements, but she also recognized the challenges she had faced along the way. When Lucille passed away in 1989, it felt like the end of a significant chapter in entertainment history. Her influence on television, especially through I Love Lucy, continued to be felt long after her death. The show remained popular, introducing new generations to her unique style of comedy. Her legacy was not only defined by her success, but also by her resilience and determination. The story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz is more than just a tale of fame and success. It is a deeply human story about love, ambition, and the challenges that come with both. Together, They built something extraordinary through Desilu Productions, changing the way television was created and experienced. Their work introduced new ideas, broke social barriers, and set standards that are still followed today. At the same time, their personal lives showed that even the most successful partnerships can face serious difficulties. Their journey reminds us that relationships are complex and that love alone is not always enough to overcome every challenge. Yet, it also shows that people can grow, forgive, and find peace even after painful experiences. The legacy they left behind is not just about their achievements, but also about their ability to remain connected despite everything they went through. Their story continues to inspire because it feels real and relatable. It reflects the ups and downs of life, showing that behind every great success, there are personal struggles that shape who we become. The lasting impact of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz goes far beyond their personal story, reaching deep into the world of entertainment and shaping the future of television in ways that are still visible today. When audiences think of early television, one of the first things that often comes to mind is I Love Lucy, a show that not only made people laugh but also introduced new standards for how television could be produced. Before their time, many shows were broadcast live and then disappeared forever, leaving no lasting record. However, through their company, Desilu Productions, they made the bold decision to film episodes using high-quality film. This allowed the show to be replayed, creating what would later become the foundation of television syndication. This single decision changed the business of television, turning shows into long-term assets rather than one-time broadcasts. It also opened the door for future creators to think differently about how their work could reach audiences. In addition to technical changes, they also influenced storytelling. By bringing real-life elements into their show, such as Lucille's pregnancy, they helped television feel more honest and connected to everyday life. Their influence can still be seen in modern sitcoms that mix humor with real human experiences, proving that their ideas were far ahead of their time. Another important part of their legacy is how they challenged social expectations and helped reshape cultural norms. At a time when television often showed very traditional and limited images of relationships, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz presented something different. Their on-screen marriage reflected their real-life partnership, including the fact that Desi was a Cuban immigrant with a noticeable accent. This was not common on American television during the early 1950s, and many network executives were initially unsure about how audiences would react. However, viewers quickly embraced their relationship, showing that audiences were ready for something new. This helped open the door for more diverse representation in entertainment, even if progress was slow. Lucille herself also broke barriers as a woman in the industry. She was not only a leading actress, but also a businesswoman who played a major role in running Desilu Productions. At a time when few women held such positions of power, she proved that talent and determination could overcome traditional limitations. Her success inspired future generations of women to pursue leadership roles in entertainment and beyond. Together, Lucille and Desi did more than entertain. They helped